everybody. Check, check, check. My name is Man of Toast, and this is my theory for Supreme Leader Snoke. So, just so you know, if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is heavy for spoilers, or at least I think it is. So the biggest theory that I went into the movie hearing was that Supreme Leader Snoke is Darth Plagueis from, I guess, what would be considered the prequel trilogy. Now, although you didn't see him, he was illustrated in the expanded universe as looking basically like this, right over here. Obviously being played by Andy Serkis. And when I first heard that, I was very pleased with that. That would be really cool. I'd love to see Darth Plagueis, because that would also entail that the Sith still exist somehow. And I'm a big fan of the Sith, so and I wasn't so thrilled with the fact that they apparently don't exist anymore. That, I guess, is it's still up in the air. I guess they could exist somehow, but Darth Plagueis would still imply that. And it is known that the species is, I think it's pronounced as being a mun. And so I thought, okay, so if he comes up on screen, that's him. Then we all know it's all okay. But then I watched the movie, and this is where some spoilers come in, and then you see Supreme Leader Snoke, and you really don't know what he is. And mind you, I've only seen the movie once so far. But if memory serves me correctly, he almost looks human-ish. And in the movie, you'll see that he's in a hologram, so he looks massive. But I bet you he's just kind of normal-sized, or maybe tall. There's rumors that he's really tall. But he looks relatively human-looking. I forget if he has pointed ears or not, or something along those lines. But he does have scarring, like substantial scarring on like his face, going down from his cheek to his mouth. Then he has like some scars up on his head, and that got me thinking, because I remember hearing J.J. Abrams talk about how Supreme Leader Snoke does not have any affiliation with Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious. And then, so that would kind of nullify the Darth Plagueis theory, because we all know that Darth Plagueis was the master of Sidious. So if there was no affiliation, then that would disprove that theory pretty quickly. And it was said by J.J. Abrams, so I would assume that they are going to act upon that. It was also said by Andy Serkis, who plays Snoke, that Darth Plagueis is really old. Like, I'm talking stupid old. So there's something else, and that's, I think, what kind of made people move toward Plagueis, was because he could create life, or not create life. Well, that's another thing that they think he can do, but manipulate life. So they thought he could make himself immortal. But there's the whole thing with him having no affiliation, so that puts it down on that theory. But then I thought, what about Malgus? Because, first off, he before this whole thing where the Sith don't exist anymore, I was already a huge fan of Malgus. He is, I think, my favorite Sith. But um, I kind of lose my thought here. What's going on? And it bummed me out when I heard that he was killed off in the Old Republic series until just recently. Um, so before all this, I thought, okay, before that, after I get to that, I'll get to this. So Malgus is human, and Snoke looks relatively human. He could be human but disfigured, which would go in line with Malgus because he was disfigured greatly by Satele Shan. And we all know he was extremely powerful in the Force and all that kind of stuff. If you see the movie, you see Snoke. He doesn't look very like muscly or bulky, but that could be because of his age. The Darth Magus Malgus that we are used to, he's very bulky, and we see him as that. But we gotta count for age in this, so that could be acceptable, I think. He doesn't have the mask anymore if it is Malgus, but with the right force ability, it seems like you can overpower any kind of ailment. Like, despite Palpatine's age, he took on like 4 Jedi, and for the most part, one, I think. Um, and then we come down to the video game, The Old Republic. So at first it was said that he was killed off, but then there was rumors of his survival. And at first you're thinking, well, these are two separate things. They don't really coincide. But they released the expansion for the Old Republic, which was Knights of the Fallen Empire. But they could only release that under the agreement of Disney, because now they own all of Star Wars. Or at least I'm pretty sure they own all of it. And so now the Old Republic and the people who own Star Wars are now in communication, and they have to bounce ideas off each other to do these new things. And as part of the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion, they either changed or revealed that instead of being killed on a Republic by a Republic strike team, Malgus was overthrown and captured. And upon that, you find out that he was brought to Emperor Valkorion. Now, at this time, we don't know the ultimate fate of Valkorion, because he became a Force ghost, and his son Arkan is still alive, but the point is, Malgus is in their possession, alive and carbon freeze. And so now we have Malgus surviving through that, and now being in the hands of the company that dictates Star Wars now. So we'll go over here and take a look at some Malgus pictures here. So we'll see. Yeah, let's go right here. We got some scarring right here, and the location of the scars, I think, could probably be changed if this was the case. But with the scarring, and with the fact that he actually proclaimed himself the Emperor at one point, and despite being defeated, he still had very different views on what the Empire should be. it seems like if he were to uh, be in power beyond what he was in, or if he had power beyond what his defeat entailed, um, he would probably make something close to the First Order, which is what we see now, and that would be very cool. Um, so this is the Darth Malgus theory, which I think actually fits pretty well so far. I haven't seen anything that could really put uh, a bit of a stopper in this, because he's still alive. He's still very powerful in the Force. He was in carbon freeze, so he's still alive, and that could make his life longer despite him being human. That could make his life longer along with his Force ability. It's known that he keeps himself put together and stable because of his power of the dark side and everything. And I Now this is where I get a little confused, because I don't know if it was said that Kylo Ren or Snoke uses both the light and the dark, but I know that Malgus is noted as being primarily a dark sider, but he does use some light side abilities, and we know that he is very open to change and very willing for change because he saw the flaws in the Empire. Um, so I think that's actually a very promising possibility, and because he is my favorite Sith, I would be overjoyed if he turned out to be a prominent player in the last part of the series. That would be so cool, and that would even open up the option for a standalone film of just him, and that would be amazing. So that's the Darth Plagueis, not Darth Plagueis, Darth Malgus theory, as being Supreme Leader Snoke in this new trilogy, and I am so hopeful that is the case. If this makes sense, then by all means, leave a comment. If you disagree, I'd actually love to hear some disagreeing opinions, because I'd love to see if I missed anything here, because I think this is pretty solid. Um, Thanks for watching, and cheers. Happy New Year's, I guess. Just found out it's like a week away. I thought it was today, but I was wrong. Have a good one.